not, I'm gonna just actually.
We can see it, but I can't hear it.
Okay, I think it's something to do with. Okay, I'm gonna pray like this. Sorry about the technical challenges, but it's always fun to have something. Otherwise, we're gonna be bored if we're not gonna be something that's gonna give us a little bit of shake. So one more time, this is a video with David Melzer, and he asked me to put it before he's gonna come on the stage, so that's what I'm gonna do. And he's gonna start in a few seconds. And by the way, how many of you knows about David Melzer? Feel free to put it in the chat if you know about him or you know about his work and what he does, because I would be curious to know, to see if you know about him and what he do and everything else that it is regarding with him. So feel free to put in that chat about that if you can do it. But let's see here what's going on. Wonderful. We have a drop. Okay, so it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, works.
My personal mission, not only in life, but here today, is simply to empower you, to empower others to be happy. Today we have an extraordinary opportunity because we can reach about 1/8 of the world and change the world in one simple day. If I can empower you, or at least 1,000 of you today, in order to empower another 1,000 people, to empower another 1,000 people to be happy, 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000 is 1 billion people, about 1/8 of this universe. 1/8 of the world to be empowered to be happy. There's nothing more important in life than to be happy. And I'm going to teach through my journey lessons of happiness. It's really simple, of how to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. My definition of happiness is really simple. It's the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit, pursuit of your potential. And there's one thing that I know. Happy people don't have disease. They don't destroy, right? They don't have to think they're amazing. The happy people don't do bad things. Number one, you have to be happy to give it to other people. And if you're not feeling happy, then go ask for help. Ask for help. Ask somebody, can you please help me? This is what I need to be happy.
But today I feel expectation to like feel that energy today, because I just was like, if I could just get here and listen to your story today, you know, that would inspire me. I just really want to say thank you. You know, that's why I came back, because it was just to come back at least to say thank you. You know, you might not have been where I'm at right now, but you know, the story still inspired me regardless.
All of you live in the world of more than enough, with me and through me.
I send you the link.
And so all of us can live with gratitude,
On WhatsApp.
empathy, accountability, and effective communication. If all of us
Join.
consistently every day, persistently without quit, enjoy the pursuit of that blessing, that potential, that truth, we can manifest everything we desire. If I can empower you to be happy, to empower others to be happy, that's what makes me happy.
Here we go. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I hope everybody enjoyed this amazing clip with Mr. David Melzer. And I just want to properly introduce himself before we're going to bring him on the stage. So Mr. David Melzer, he is a co-founder of Sports One Marketing and formerly served as a CEO for internationally renowned Leisterberg Sports. And he which is like the inspiration for the, like I said, for the Jerry Maguire movie. David is also a 3-time international best-selling author, top 100 coach, and host of the Top Entrepreneur Podcast, The Playbook. David is also the executive producer of Apple TV series 2 Minutes Drill, Office Hours, and he's also the executive producer for Entrepreneur's #1 digital business show, The Elevator Pitch. And David is featured in many books, movies, TV shows, such as World Greatest Motivators, Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy of Beyond the Secret, and airing on Netflix as well. In addition to this, he's been recognized by various magazines as their Sports Humanitarian of the Year, award of Ellis Island Medal of Honor. His life mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. As you saw inside of the clip that I played, that's his passion, his mission, and he has, I will say, this empowerment, or this, I will say, craving of helping others, of getting that his mission forward and communicating with others. So he wants to empower 1 million, and every single one of those million to empower another million. So in that way, we're going to reach to 1 billion people. And if you want to find more about him, please feel free to go to dmelzer.com and training, and you're going to find more about what he does. And you can find him on YouTube. You can find him on, of course, on Instagram and every single social media. He's omnipresent, and he's an amazing speaker and amazing business person. And I have the pleasure to invite him on the stage and to speak for us here, and to speak for us on the live sessions that we have on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and even on Clubhouse, and as well for our recordings that later on is going to be played. And with this being said, I have the honor and the pleasure to invite Mr. David Melzer.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I thought today I'd talk about perception. And the reason I'd like to talk about perception is my perception changed earlier in the week. I don't know if all of you saw, but there was a picture from the Webb telescope of billions of galaxies. And I've always been an expansive thinker, trying to challenge myself to think within the context of infinite everything, infinite plus one, infinite wisdom. And on Monday, when I looked at that picture of billions of galaxies, I thought to myself, man, I must be limiting myself still. If the universe is this big, billions of galaxies, and what was represented there was equal to or analogous of just a grain of sand, then there's no way that I'm pursuing my potential at the capacity that I have. And looking at that, I'd like to talk about 3 different worlds that I've lived in and that I help to empower other people to transcend from and through as well. When I grew up in a world of not enough. I had a single mom. She raised 6 kids on her own, 5 boys and 1 girl. And she felt that the way out of the world of not enough of anything for anyone, was education. She had favorite sayings like, the fetus wasn't fully developed till after graduate school. She would consistently tell us doctor, lawyer, or failure. And my siblings all cohered to that and studied extremely hard and went to Harvard, Penn, Columbia, graduated summa cum laude. But my escape, or my transcendence from the world of not enough, was going to be through getting rich. See, the only time I wasn't happy, I had these incredible siblings, this incredible mom, was when a dishwasher would break, or the car, or we couldn't afford food. And I would catch my mom crying, and I'd say to myself, since I was 5 years old, if I could only make a lot of money, I would be happy and I could make other people happy. So I set forth on a different mission to escape the world of not enough, the world of not enough of everything for everyone, the world of not enough where everyone is a victim and all you hear is, why me, why me? And I created this system of enjoying the consistent every day, persistent, without quit pursuit of my potential, and my potential of making more and more money to create happiness in my life. You see, I believed at that time in the world of not enough that money bought love and happiness. And as I moved through my career, through playing football in college and realizing I wasn't going to be a professional football player, to going to law school and becoming an oil and gas litigator. And when I graduated, my first, my first transcendence from the world of not enough was I got offered 2 jobs out of law school. One was to be an oil and gas litigator, and one was to sell legal research in 1992 on the internet. And so I went to my trusted advisor, my mom, and I asked her, what should I do? Should I take this $150,000 a year lawyer job where it would set me forth from the world of not enough? Or should I take this sales job, which had a comp plan of $250,000? And without blinking, my mom said, David, you need to be a real lawyer. You know, this internet thing, it's a fad. It's never going to last. People will never do research on the internet. You need books to do research. This is a waste of your time. And that's when I learned a very valuable lesson about transcendence. And that's just because somebody loves you doesn't mean they give you good advice. You see, there's 2 types of people in the world. There's ignorant people, people that don't know what they don't know, which was represented even to me by that picture of billions of galaxies, of how extensive, expansive, and accelerated the universe is compared to what I believed. And there's ignorant, arrogant people that don't know what they don't know, but they, out of fear, pretend like they do. And the greatest fear a human being has is for their children. And so although we would never want to call our parents or those who love us ignorant and arrogant, they are actually the most ignorant and arrogant. They will tell us things even though they don't know what they don't know. And we must be aware of ignorant arrogance in order to effectuate best choices, to identify patterns and clues that are aligned with what we want. And so I transcended and took the internet job. And 9 months out of law school, I was a millionaire. And from that point on, I lived in the second world, a world of just enough, a world of just enough for me, a world where people believe that the more you give, the more you receive, a place where people believe that money would buy happiness and love. And at that time, I didn't think, and wasn't very faithful. I didn't believe in God or a greater source or an omniscient, all-powerful being. I believed that I was in control, and that's the for me world, that everything was for me, extremely positive, extremely philanthropic, but everything was a trade, a negotiation. It was a different form of scarcity, but yet still there was scarcity. There was just enough for me, and I could only give what I had. And 3 years after I started that job as a millionaire, we sold the company for $3.4 billion in 1995. That was a lot of money in 1995. And that set not only my life in a different trajectory, but it also reaffirmed that money bought love and happiness in this second world of just for me. And I continue to believe that in the world of just for me as I turned in 1999, 31 years old, and became CEO of Samsung's first phone division. I was a multi-millionaire married to my dream girl that I met in the 4th grade, who hated me since the 6th grade, where I asked her to go study through my best friend, Rob, and he embarrassed me and told me, she said no, even though what she really said was tell him to ask me himself, but he embarrassed me, so I threw an egg at her. And so I've known my wife since I was in the 4th grade, and here I was at 30 years old, a multi-millionaire living in the world just for me, married to my dream girl. And I received at that time in 1999, the first red flag. And that red flag would identify or raise my awareness of what world I was living in. My father who abandoned us at 5, hadn't sent me a birthday present since I was 10, when he forgot my birthday and told me he didn't believe in birthdays and crushed me. And I told him at that time that I hated him. And now at 30, he sent me the red flag. He sent me a birthday gift. I opened up this big box. I was so excited. I had tears in my eyes, and my wife is like, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Oh my gosh, my dad is apologizing. He finally gets it." And I open it up, and it's a gorgeous sport coat, and I put it on immediately. I was amazed that it fit me. And as I opened it up to see if it said, you know, especially for my son, or Armani, or something special, I realized that he had torn out all the pockets in my jacket. He had torn out all the lining in my pocket. And I went from complete bliss and joy to anger and rage. And I called him immediately and I said, "Dad, why are you punishing me?" And he said, "Son, what are you talking about? Happy birthday." I said, "Don't give me that. What are you talking about? Why would you send me a jacket I can't wear?" He said, "Well, the jacket's not for wearing." I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" He said, "Son, I want you to hang that jacket in your closet to remind you every day that money does not buy happiness. You are just like me, and I'm worried. You cannot live in this world. I promise you, it's the wrong world to live in, and I want to teach you not to make the same mistakes as me." And I said to my father at that time, "I hate you. I'm nothing like you. You're a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, an overseller, a back-end seller. I want nothing to do with you. F you." And I hung up on him. I continued to live for 6 years in the world of just for me, when I met a man named Lee Steinberg, who ran the firm that they made the movie Jerry Maguire about. And now, not only was I a multimillionaire, married to my dream girl, I had 3 gorgeous daughters under the age of 6. I had everything that I ever dreamed of. And because I ran the most notable sports agency in the world, I had access to things that even billionaires couldn't afford. I could go backstage at the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl, the Masters, Kentucky Derby, Breeders' Cup, the ESPYs, Emmys, Oscars, Grammys. I could do things that nobody on earth could do week after week. And so I wanted to share that with my best friend, Rob. That's the same Rob that asked my wife at 6th grade camp to go study with me. He was my oldest and my best friend. And I asked Rob, I said, "Would you go to the Masters with me?" You see, he loved golf. I said, "We're going to go fly private with Joe Montana. We're going to see Wayne Gretzky and Warren Moon. We're going to go to the NetJet parties. We're going to have special access to the cabins with Curtis Strange. Come with me, Rob." And he looked me right in the eyes and he said, "Not a chance." I said, "Rob, what do you mean? It's your dream to go to the Masters. It's the ultimate bucket list of sports. You love golf." He says, "I don't care. I love you, Dave. And I don't like what you're doing. And I don't like who you hang out with." I said, "Oh, come on, Rob. I'm not doing anything bad. And I'm not like those other guys." And he looked me back straight in the eyes and he said, "David, you can lie to me all you want. You can lie to everyone else all you want, but stop lying to yourself." My oldest and best friend since the 4th grade, I looked him back into the eyes and said, "Rob, I hate you. How dare you talk to me with this way? I'm trying to take you to be a good friend to you, and this is the way you treat me." I walked away crying. 2 weeks later, my life would change forever. I would learn about this world of not enough that I was born into, where everything happened to me as a victim, and this world I was living in, where money was my God, where money bought love and happiness, where I lived in this world of just enough for me, a scarce world just for me, where I was lying to myself of how generous I was as I was trading everything in my life, negotiating everything in my life, all for the wrong reasons and the wrong impact. 2 weeks after Rob and I had that conflictual situation, I told my wife I was going to the Grammy Awards. She said, "I don't want you to go. You're not paying attention to your work. You're not paying attention to the family. And I'm worried about you. You're partying way too much and doing really bad things." And I lied to her and I went to the Grammys. I told her I had a business meeting. I changed my clothes in the car, and I ended up going with a guy named Little John, a rapper. And I came home at 5:30 in the morning, a complete disaster. As she was waiting for me at the door, I looked at her and she said to me, "I'm leaving. I'm not happy." I said, "Are you kidding me? You're leaving? Look around you. Who do you think made all of this? I am going to steal your happiness. I hate you. How dare you talk to me?" And I walked away, and I woke up in the morning even more angry, feeling as if I hated my father, I hated my best friend, and I hated my wife. And I sat there thinking about how much hate I had and how I was going to take away everyone's joy. I wasn't going to talk to them. I was going to take all that I had given them away. And as I was full of anger, living in the world just for me, I looked over into that closet and I saw that jacket. I looked at that jacket and I still get turned up today thinking, I don't hate my father. I don't hate my best friend. And I certainly didn't hate my wife. I hated myself. At that moment, I realized that I was not in control of my life, that I had made nothing happen, that I certainly believed in God, but I believed in the wrong God. I believed in the wrong God and was serving the wrong God. And I was going to change that. I was going to shift my paradigm from one of punishment to one of protection and promotion. No longer was I going to seek more money, more happiness, more health, and more wealth. From now on, I was going to live with gratitude and forgiveness and accountability and effective communication. I was going to live in spirit, knowing that I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, and I am worthy. I was connected to and through the world of more than enough. The world of more than enough, of everything for everyone, an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent source that loved me more than my mom. I just needed to figure out what I was doing to interfere with it. And as I transcended from the world of not enough, where everything happened to me, into the world of for me, where everything was a trade and negotiation, where you would buy things to be happy, buy more things to be happy, buy things to impress people, buy things to impress people you don't even like, into an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing world of faith, of something bigger than me that loved me more than my mom loved me. And I've transcended over the last 16 years to live with gratitude, which gives me perspective, the ability to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything, to be forgiving, to give me peace, to live in accountability. No longer would I live in scarcity of blame, shame, and justification, but I live in a world of what am I doing to participate in this perception, and what am I supposed to learn from it? And instead of just effectively communicating to others, I effectively communicate to everything, knowing what I'm connected to and through. No longer do things happen to me or for me, but they happen through me with protection and promotion. And in this abundant universe of more than enough, I am looking to empower over 1,000 people, to empower 1,000, to empower 1,000, 1,000 times a millions, and 1,000 times a thousands a million, and a billion times a thousands a billion. And with that billion or over a billion people, I'll create a collective consciousness of people that live with gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. Please join me in this effort. I appreciate the opportunity. I have about 10 minutes for questions. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir, and thank you. We appreciate you for always, your amazing, amazing, amazing sense of, I will say, understanding of what's going on in the universe and the way that you perceive it and the way you distribute it, your thoughts. And I always appreciate, I always admire you, and there's a reason I re-invite you here, because I think you're one of the best, I will say, and inspirational, and for this world and for whatever it's called, entrepreneurial and humanly world, because we always need an inspiration. And for that reason, I'm first of all, I want to say thank you. And please feel free, if you have any question, and I know it was some question earlier from Victoria. Victoria, if you want, you can unmute yourself. If not, please feel free to, I can read it for you, but if you want to unmute, you can unmute yourself, Victoria. Let's see here. Victoria?
Yep, I'm here. I'm sorry. I just popped in. So I didn't quite hear. I was going to invite people here, so I didn't quite hear what you were calling me for. Sorry.
You had the question that you asked earlier, and I was trying to kind of read it to Mr.
I had a question earlier.
Yes, I saw a question, but anyway.
That was Christian, Peter.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm trying to get people in here. Sorry about that.
how you always started to be committed? That was the question. Christian, you want to put a question?
Yeah, sure. David, first of all, thank you again for coming on today. It's been a pleasure, and always I'm trying to jump on all the Instagram calls they have, because it's always, regardless of your guest, it's always something new and coming from a different perspective. So we really appreciate you coming on today and also what you do. But my question was, when you realized the new you, how did you find the best way to stay to that new you? Because I know how hard it is to change the habits and the mindset. It's one of the hardest one to change. So what if you give one? I know it's kind of hard to give in one sentence, but what will be one thing that you will suggest?
I created 5 daily practices, which I'd love to send to your group. So take notes, but I'll send it to everyone. My email, as well as david@dmelzer.com, which they put in the chat. But here's the 5 daily practices that allow me to practice these ideas, to practice every day pursuing my potential. And the first thing is what? I ask myself every day, what is it that I want today? You see, today is the only reality that exists. It's the only place that man-made constructs have an effect on us, because it has time, space, and size in it. Anything quantifiable is only relative to today in its reality. See, yesterday in all my past is relative, right? I give meaning to my bankruptcy. I lost over $100 million, right? I give meaning to that. It's relative. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me now, because I realize after 16 years that I probably would have been divorced at the very least, but most likely dead. Therefore, losing everything was an extraordinarily good thing. But that's all relative. And my future is also relative. So I need to live in knowing what I want today in a trajectory towards relativity that should scare me and everyone else. If you're not laughing, scoffing, or making fun of me for my future, then I'm not thinking big enough. I love when I tell people, hey, my mission in life is to empower over 1 billion people. I'm going to change the world and make a happy world. And they snicker at me and walk away. But if you looked at my calendar today, nobody would laugh at me. I'm just extremely efficient, effective, and statistically successful with my day. I'm productive, accessible, and gracious with my time today. So in order to be that, I need to, number one, know what it is I want today in a trajectory of a really big future. And when I know what I want today, that makes it a possibility, a mathematical advantage over the nothingness that most people live in. Most people live like a tube, food in, food out. You ask them what they want, they have no idea, but they're not satisfied and don't know why they're not where they want to be, because they don't know where they want to go, because they don't know what they want. But the minute you know what you want, it's a possibility. The second practice is know who. See, the minute you know who you can help with what you want and who can help you, it becomes a probability. You're now inspired, in spirit, connected to and through everything in the world are more than enough. So when you know what you want today in a trajectory towards a really big future, know who you can help and who can help you. You now take your possibility and make it a probability. And the next step is how. I use lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. You see, I know that today is the only reality I have. The past is relative. The future is even more relative. Therefore, I'm going to look at the activities that I have today the activities I get paid for, the activities I don't get paid for. I don't believe in work. 7 days a week, I have activity I get paid for and activity I don't get paid for. I vacation every day and I get paid every day. I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's here on a Saturday. Isn't his family upset? No, I have activity I get paid for, activity I don't get paid for, and an activity of sleep. I have activity planned. I have activity that's not planned. See, once you know your what, your who, and your how, you can determine your now. 100% of the things you get done now, get done. 100% of them. And the more that you get done now, the more productive, accessible, and gracious, efficient, effective, and statistically successful you'll be. See, if you know your now, you know your priorities. See, the priority or the prioritization is the antidote to two things: procrastination. Nobody that knows how to prioritize procrastinates, and nobody that prioritizes feels overwhelmed. See, feeling overwhelmed is an indicator you're living in abundance. When I feel overwhelmed, I say thank you. Thank you for more than enough to do, for more than enough options, opportunities, and touches of favor in my life. I got to start focusing in on the prioritization of what I want, who I can help, who can help me, and how to get it done. And once I do that, the biggest shift in my life is no longer am I in search of a why. You see, if you know your what, your who, your how, and your now, you're not in search of a why. You're applying your why. You're not trying to get more happy, more healthy, more wealthy, more worthy. You know you are happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. You know you're connected to and through the greatest source of power, light, love, and lessons, omniscient, all-powerful, and all-knowing, and omnipresent. You know you're part and parcel to that. You're just trying to figure out how to stop interfering with what you're already given. You see, you don't give to receive. You have received so you can give. You have everything, more than enough of everything, and you need to give it, but you need to be able to identify it. And so what do? The practice of knowing your what, your who, your how, and your now. How do we apply the why? 4 steps. Number 1, identify what you're doing to interfere with it. Do you have the need to be right? The need to be offended? Do you have a need to be separate? Do you have a need to be superior? Do you have a need to be inferior? Do you ever get angry, upset, anxious, frustrated, guilty, resentful? Do you ever worry? Do you ever complain? Well, any of these things are just interfering with the omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing. You're interfering with your power, your source, your love, your light. It's interfering with it. So what do? I apply my why by identifying those needs of the ego-based consciousness, the interference. I identify it. And then instead of resisting it, fighting it, going over it, under it, through it, around it, lying to it, manipulating it, cheating it, I simply stop. I practice identifying those interferences, and then I stop. I breathe through my nose and out through my mouth until I get to center, until I get to neutral, until I get to gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, until I get to peace with control. And then what do? When I get to center and neutral, when I've cleared the interference of that need, I remind, I remember, and I recollect. What am I reminding, remembering, and recollecting to? The greatest source, the omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent source that I'm connected to and through in a world of more than enough. When I remind, remember, and recollect, I then roll in the right trajectory into what I want, who I can help, who can help me, and how best to get it done by prioritizing or reprioritizing according to my trajectory that should scare you and everyone else around you for a greater, better, bigger purpose in the future. If you know your what, your who, your how, and your now, and apply your why, you will be more productive, accessible, and gracious. You will make more money, help more people, and have more fun. I'll be happy to send you those 5 daily practices. They have changed my life. Remember, what you pay attention to and what you give intention to, the 5 levels of intention, not just what you think, not just what you say, not just what you do, not just what you believe, but also what you feel, the inspired, the in spirit that you feel, the confidence, the coincidences will occur. What you pay attention to and what you give attention to equals the coincidences in your life. It is actually a mathematical equation of luck. Why not live with the lucky in the world of more than enough of everything for everyone? That is what you have been given, you have been endowed with. This is why I showed up here today, to help you get the clarity, balance, and focus so that you too can be inspired in spirit and live in this world of more than enough. I appreciate everyone and your
I
time.
appreciate Mr. Dan.
Please
I
reach out to me, david@dmelzer.com. I do free trainings every Friday. I have my books, my guides, my exercises. I know we'll be sending those out. And if you want any of these practices or values, I'll be happy to email you those as well, david@dmelzer.com.
Thank you, Mr. David. I appreciate you. We appreciate to be here and looking forward to have a conversation with you. And thank you one more time. I appreciate. Have a blessed day. Thank you,
Have
sir.
a blessed day.
Thank
Remember,
you.
be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. I'll see you all later. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you.
Thank you.